going to be chatting to the potential shareholder of Cape Town City. That's Benny McCarthy, who's all the way up in Scotland. Benny, good evening and welcome to MSW.
Ravi, good man. How are you, my brother? And I'm not too sure about the shareholder thing.
Are you not going to be a shareholder?
No chance, my friend, no chance.
But he says you might even go back. If there was a chance, he would rehire you at Cape Town City.
When the shoe don't fit, my friend, you don't put them on no more. So, yeah, the shoes, I've outgrown the shoes, so don't wear shoes that's too small. I don't think anybody does, but, yeah. But it was great time, but it's just my destiny is taking me elsewhere and not to come back Cape Town City. So yeah, that's a chapter closed in my book for me. So yeah, I appreciate, the chairman being optimistic, but for me, no thanks, but no thank you.
Sure, that sounds harsh.
No, harsh, no, I'm just being truthful. I'm just saying, I'm like, I've been there, I've done that, and yeah, and I've closed the chapter there on that one, and I don't see for me to go back again and open Hoons or whatever. You understand? So for me, it's a chapter closed, and that was it. I had an amazing time. I had a great experience. Learned a lot. Lots of ups. Lots of downs, lots of highs, and lots of some lows as well. So yeah, you've taken it all. But it's for me, I've closed the door there on that one there now. So yeah, and that's it. I'm moving on, and I'm looking for my next experience, for my next chapter to wherever life will take me, it will take me. But Cape Town City, the door's closed for me there.
All right. And the reason why, obviously, even with John Committees, I even said to him that there was not an opportunity either way, whether through you or through him, that we were ever able to discuss your exit. You were not playing for a team that was a nothing team. You were playing for a team who you were able to put into a top 8 position, finishing a season number 4, number 5, going into a cup final, losing a cup final, going to a cup final, winning a trophy, an achievement that many coaches that still ply their trade in the PSL today have not been able to achieve in their entire careers of coaching. But you were able to do that in a short space of time. And I said, John, we have not been able to speak about the Benny McCarthy exit and what resulted in that happening. You were not given an opportunity to talk. He was not given an opportunity. Maybe he was not available. Maybe you were not available. Whatever the case might be. But he said what he said. He even qualified what he said regarding you coming back, needing to do X and Y and Z to try and improve yourself and so on. What does that mean? What does that say? And why did you even leave Cape Town City in the end?
Listen, I think that's probably a question for the chairman to answer, because he was the one who made the decision to let me know that, listen, we've reached our time together, and it's time to move on. And he was eager to pull the trigger, and because obviously he felt that maybe a European coach or a more experienced coach can probably take the team to higher heights than what I did. So I accepted it. I accepted that. I didn't have a complaint. But I think what I have a big problem with is that I'm making out to be the fall guy now, because the new coach is having to do clean out for my mess, my inexperience. Maybe so. I might have been just 2 years in a coaching job. So yeah, I understand the experience wasn't all there. But I think when you work for a passionate chairman, I'm passionate myself because I've played, and that's how I've always been as a player. And now coaching, there's no difference. And I think John is exactly the same. He's a super passionate guy. He loves what he does with a passion, and he lives and he breathes football, and that is all. That's amazing when you can have that, when you can discuss experiences. But then on the downside is when you have such a passionate chairman, when you have a chairman that is passionate about his football, then he takes that passion into his job, because now he's having a coach who he employs to take the team to the next level. But then, it becomes now a discussion. What about this? What about that? And then you have a chairman who's a chairman who also becomes a sporting director, because brings in the players that the chairman feels that is the right for the club. You understand? And then that there becomes a clash. You understand, Robbie, my point?
Mm-hmm. So it's crossing where you are going beyond what you're supposed to do as a chairman, but you are brought in as a coach. I mean, I don't even know if the technical team that you found there was your technical team.
Also, another thing, I accepted. I accepted when I came in, and the chairman told me that, listen, the technical team that is there, I have to work with them, and I had no problems with, because I didn't know most of them. I didn't know most of the people that worked there, or maybe in fact any of them, and I wanted to learn. I wanted the opportunity that I got, to manage the team. So I was eager and I was willing to work with people, and it didn't start off well for me, because as you know, in this business, people wanted. There was people there that was working with me that wanted the job, that wanted the opportunity, and then when it wasn't given to them, so why are they going to give me their 100% cooperation and then to work with me? And when the team does well, the players get the accolades, and the coach get the accolade, and they feel that they're not getting all the accolades, so they weren't going to give me the best. And I had some major problems with working with people that I didn't bring in, which I told to the chairman, and then eventually those people were taken out, and then I got new people in that was already working for the club. They were working for the club, but in other departments, and I brought them in to my technical team. So and it was brilliant. We created such a fantastic atmosphere for the players. We made it a family environment, like happy players, then you get happy club, and you get the results, and it was proven. But as the success were coming, new players were brought into the club, that I was asked, what do you think of this player? And then I had to give my opinion about a player that was maybe coming in, and I thought, no, I think maybe a decent player, good player. Okay, we signed this player. So I thought, okay, so I'm asked my opinion about certain players, and then when I give my opinion, if the opinion is a bit positive, then we signed the players, and then I come to find that the players were there. So eventually, I had my philosophy on the kind of players that I'm looking for, the mentality that the players should have, the family values that the players should have, the work ethic that the players should have, and also the being a team player, low maintenance players who just want to love what they do, and that's to play football, who wants to come to work and work hard and improve themselves and get better. That was the philosophy that I had, and now I was getting players that was the contrary to what I was expecting. So the club was signing some big name players, some big name players that after 3 or 4 days of me watching the training sessions and that, I knew already that I was going to have problems with certain players that were coming into the club, because of my criteria that I was looking for wasn't wasn't accordingly to the criteria of the players that was coming in. But nevertheless, they signed, and then you have to work with them. You can't just be like not happy about the players that you have. So you try to work with those players. But yeah, in the end, it becomes difficult when you have Zukile, Keuti, Craig Martin, for example.
What about Chris David?
Shaquille Abrams. When you have a Shaquille Abrams, like when you have these kind of players who hardly plays, but the Tabu Nodada, Kermit Erasmus, Tato Mokeke, I can go on and name a whole lot, Roland Pucher. When you have players who wants to work exceptionally hard and they want to improve themselves, but they want to improve the status of the club. Dovet, Milson, Ibrahim Sedat, I can go on. And then now you got a few superstars coming in who's injured Monday to Thursday, and then Friday, they spring chickens, like flying out the blocks and that. And then this is a guy that was injured Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then obviously me being a personality and me not being afraid of anybody, not even the chairman, as a matter of fact, when it comes to my philosophy and my way and what I stand by, my beliefs. And I think that was my downfall. I couldn't be a yes man to be exceptionally like, okay, if I have a Lionel Messi, if I have a Cristiano Ronaldo, if you score 3-4 goals per game for me and you are injured Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I have to suck it up. Because I know what I'm going to get come Saturday. But if I don't get from the players that do that on a Saturday, and now I have to look a Craig Martin in the eye, and he has to sit on the bench, or he has to be left out the team, or Kewuti, or Kermit Erasmus, or Tato Mokeke, or Tabo Nodada, then it becomes, then I'm not doing justice to, my philosophy, and then why am I even coaching for that matter? And I think towards the end, that started becoming a norm. And because I was sticking to my beliefs and sticking to my guns that this is my philosophy, and if it fails because I did it my way, I didn't do it someone else's way, and at the end, the big time players that came in that wasn't playing as regularly as they would have liked to because they didn't work hard enough under me, they were unfortunately the closer relations to the chairman, and obviously whatever when they're on the bench, the chairman's door is wide open for discussions to these kind of players, and then the complaints goes. So then when you start drawing games, and you don't get a win, but the team still plays fabulous football, from the best football that's been played in the PSL for a number of years since I can remember, because when I was doing the analyst, I used to watch the PSL, and Sundowns, you get that kind of football from. Pirates, you get it. Like certain games, Pirates is unplayable. You can't stop Pirates. And then there's some games that when Cape Town City started finding the rhythm, when the players bought into what I was trying to do, I think, we weren't always getting the positive result. We weren't always winning, but teams respected us because they knew they were in for a hell of a game, because Cape Town City played them up the park, but sometimes the results don't concur. But we were satisfied as a coaching staff that I had around me. As the players, I always said to them, when we come in this dressing room, we come in knowing that we give everything out at park. Sometimes it's going to be a great result. Sometimes it's not going to be the result that we expected, but we're happy. We're satisfied with the job that we've done out there. We left everything on the pitch and we have no regrets. And then we go on to the next one. That's what I always said, and that's what the players were giving me. So teams know when they play Cape Town City, good luck. You must gear up, because you know you're going to be in for a game and a half. So that was it. But because, certain players was complaining because they couldn't train for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday to what I was expecting. Train the way you play. And so they went to cry and complain by the chairman. And then in the end, when the results started going wrong, when the results not started coming, or the results not being wins instead of draws, then yeah, of course. So the chairman or the club decide maybe it's best, because the superstars aren't playing and the superstars are complaining that the coach is treating them unfairly because they don't work hard enough and I'm treating them unfairly, so they think they deserve to play. And then so then I think the decision becomes easier for the chairman to let the coach go instead of the 3-4 players the superstars who was complaining about me not playing them because and that was the situation. So I accept and I know. Listen, I've done what I had to do. I was true to myself. I believed in what I was doing was right, and I wasn't going to change that for the world. And if it means I get cut, I lose my job. I lose my job, but with dignity in hand, because the next job I go into, I'm going to do exactly the same thing what I've done. My beliefs is my beliefs. If players don't think hard work, if players think that talent over hard work, then good luck. So wherever I'm going to be coaching one day, the players that will be playing for me will all know hard work beats talent. Talent and hard work together, I accept that. But if you think that your talent is going to beat hard work, good luck for me. I'm not the kind of coach that you want to play for.
Chris David came and joined. What did you make of him?
I think he was a great free kick technician. Great free kick taker. Very positive player, very positive boy. But like I said, I've been a foreigner all my life. And I know what you need to do as a foreign player. So the criteria goes for elsewhere. So I think when foreigners come to South Africa, they mustn't just think because South Africa is third world country that they are better than us or they know more than us or they should be treated with more privilege than us, South Africa. Because when we South Africans go abroad, when we come to England, when we go to Spain, when we go to Holland, when we go to Germany, when we go to Belgium, we got to work 2 times, 3 times, sometimes more than the locals there. So I'm expecting exactly the same. When foreigners come to South Africa, they got to do exactly that. They mustn't think that they above South Africans, So they must work as hard as South African players. You can't take a player not wanting to work hard, but because he's from a foreign country, he plays ahead of a local boy who busts his gut for the team, for you. Maybe he doesn't have the same quality, but in the end, if you keep pursuing, that player will get better. And when he does get better, he's going to be 10 times better than the foreigner who comes and who thinks everything must be handed to them on a silver platter. You understand? And I have that belief, and because I've been in that situation, so I was expecting more from a player like Chris David. But he was the one of the chairman's favorite players, and so I could do nothing about that. And because when he wasn't playing, I had to answer why he wasn't playing, because he was earning big money, and I was told that he's better than Thabo Nodada every occasion, and it was yet to be proven, and that's the situation. I kept quiet, and I'm not a guy for he said, he did this, I said that. I kept quiet about it all, but when I read things and people contact me and people telling me and I'm now the scapegoat and I'm the reason why everything went wrong, then I think, listen, I think it's only fair and it's only human that I need to clear myself also out of all this, because I'm not going to just sit back like I've been scrutinized for Bafana not playing for South Africa and keeping my mouth shut, and now I'm the villain. I'm the guy that everybody has a shot at, and not even a word from me. If it was even true, people just believed what was put out there. But I accepted. I was young. I was naive. You understand? To be in a situation to defend myself in a Bafana, in a Safa case with the whole problem. Benny don't want to play for South Africa. Benny don't. There was nothing like that. But I never cleared my name. I never said the story how it was. And now I'm seeing the same is happening here with a football club. And then I think that I've done exceptionally well for, and the club should be grateful. I wasn't there to earn money. I was, I could have demanded all this, but I wasn't. It was an opportunity that the chairman had given me, and I've taken it with both arms, and I will always be grateful, and I will always respect the chairman for what he's done, for taking a risk, for taking a chance on me, and that. But then again, when it's said that the problems that Cape Town City have now, it's all due because of me, because I was inexperienced, because I didn't know how to control, how to handle the players, and I say, bullshit, man, bullshit. Then I'm not going to keep my mouth shut for anyone, and I don't care who, whether it's the chairman, John Comitas, or whoever. Then I'm going to also say my piece how it is, and then people can be the judge from that, Robbie, man. So yeah, my 2 cents worth.
No, without a doubt, and obviously, I'll take away from what you've said, and do excuse Benny in an emotive and emotional state with the expletive and the swear word that he mentioned now. But Benny, the one thing that I wanted to also talk about, because it sounds like there was a lot of interference when it comes to your line of work. It sounds like there was a lot of imposition in terms of what you had to do. Then at the time, how were you able to handle that? How were you able to divide yourself and still give off your best to the team, in front of the team, in the change room?
Robbie, I try and stay true to myself. I always said, as a player, you listen to the coach instructions. You listen to the coach instructions and you play according to the instructions. But when you cross that line, when the whistle goes, the instructions, the tactical plan, the game plan is all set out. But you as a player, you still have to play your own game. You still have to do the best to make that team win, to make, to do something exceptional that's going to give the team an upper hand. So players also still have to think on the pitch, not just play the way the coach wants them to play. And like I said, and when you become a coach, my God, you don't understand how difficult it is. You got to deal with so many personalities, so many different cultures, players from different cultures, players from different environments, players from different, we speak different languages. You gotta deal with all those kind of emotions, and it's stressful. It is stressful as hell. I didn't know what I signed up for. I didn't know it was this much. It takes that much out of you. When you go there, because when you're a player, you don't see all that. You just worry about yourself, the team tactics, and blah blah blah. But it's all about, I must make sure that I have a great game, and the team will follow all that. And if somebody else has a bad day in the office, has a bad game, and the team is still able to win, or the team is not winning, and then, those players will get criticized individually for underperforming. But me, as long as I'm 100%, but when you're a coach, you can't think like that. You got to think for everybody else. You got to have everybody in mind. So you got to try and keep the peace. And then on top of that, when you constantly in the boardroom, when you constantly, because I don't want to generalize, but you do speak to a lot of coaches, because we have a coaches reunion, and you've got a coaches unite, and it's you hear from most coaches the same thing. Interference from the boardroom. You got to play this one, you got to sign this one, but we accept, we take the job, so you take what comes with it, and that's what you do with it in the end, so for me it was a constant, I'm having to play this one, I'm fighting about team selections and that, but at the end of the day, I always made it my own team. I made the final decision. So when things backfire, then if I am to lose my job, I lose my job because I made the mistakes. I made the wrong decisions. I didn't go for what who the chairman wanted me to play, who the chairman's son wanted me to play. You know, I didn't go for that. Who the assistant coach we discuss as a technical team, and then I make the decisions based on the players, how they performed, how they trained that week, and tactically, if it's a smart move for us against a certain team, or if it's which 11 is best to send out, you know. But it does become stressful when coaches are constantly in the boardroom fighting about team selections with the chairmans, with the owners, with family members from the club, because everybody wants to be involved. But at the end of the day, it's only one person who gets to lose his job, and that's the head, that's the coach. You know, unfortunately, it's the world that we're in. But you know, I managed it okay, but it was stressful at times. I didn't look like it wasn't, but yeah, I was stressed out my nut because of, you know, it's already too much to handle, like preparing the team and getting the team ready for the next game, for the next challenge, and then you in 3-4 days a week you're discussing tactics, and of course the board needs to know, the chairman needs to know, like, you know.
Let me just quickly come in. Sorry, Benny, not interrupting your trail of thought. I need to take a quick break, and I'll come back. We'll talk about, we'll wrap up the conversation about Cape Town City, but also the exciting things that lie ahead and how you almost got a very big job. The WhatsApp voice note number 060-584-2250. We're chatting to Benny McCarthy. Obviously, in response, he got wind of the conversation that we had with John Comitis earlier this week, and felt that in light of all the silence from his side regarding his departure from Cape Town City, just affording him an opportunity as well to react to that and a whole lot of other things that I'm sure we'll touch on in a second. I know I caught you midstream there, Benny, but the last time when we had an interview, it was early in the year. I remember it was blistering cold. You guys were at training, and there was a request that you had made or put forward, or you were unhappy about, that had to do with your defense. And you said that the one request you had put forward was for Robin Johannes to make his return back to the club. That didn't materialize. It showed up on many, many occasions that as an attack-minded team, you were still not able to defend well. So that slot was not probably filled. What happened in your quest to try and get the player back, or anybody of his caliber?
Well, Robbie, you know, as a team, you sit down and you make your transfer targets. You assess them, and then you discuss with the chairman and the technical team, and you know, we've done our homework on these players, and I felt like the team that we've already assembled was strong enough. We don't need to strengthen the team that much, but I think a leader was much needed, because with the likes of Pucha injured on a long-term basis, Thabo Nadada also was injured. I felt that, you know, we need to bring in a leader, somebody who talks, because, you know, who can communicate to the players, but who can also strengthen the defense, because I think at the back, Tariq Felix, fantastic player, but plays his own game. He's still young in the PSL terms. You know, I'm saying he's young and only played 2 seasons prior to that. You know, he's been in NFD with Milano, so he doesn't have that experience. So he's not going to be someone that's going to talk and then organize the back. the back four and organize the midfield and then, pushing. So I needed that, and I identified, I think, Robin Johannes, he was perfect for us, and him together with Tariq Felix, they formed a formidable partnership at the back, and Sage Stevens at the back. They were superb in my first season, and then unfortunately contracts issued, seeing we lost Robin, and then I wanted him back, and I thought there was an opening with Wits saying that they would let him go, and I wanted the chairman to bring him back. But yeah, and the chairman didn't feel that it was right to bring Robin back because of in the manner that he left. So yeah, the chairman just didn't want to bring him back, even though we could have gotten him. But then in the end, I understood, because yeah, sometimes you can't just get what you want. As coaches, there's budgets that you have to consider and all that. So my disappointment came. He was free when we didn't get him. And then a couple of weeks later, then we get Greek International and that. So it was just showing me that the players that I identify as a coach wasn't really what the board and the club wanted. So it was like, it's good mentioning them, but I think that's why I said the passion that the chairman has and, the chairman's circle had, like, they felt like they also know football, so they can bring in people that can, it doesn't have to be from the club. I wanted a goalkeeper coach. I wanted to bring in my goalkeeper coach, and the chairman brought in somebody better in his view, in his saying that, yeah, you wanted this one, I brought you someone better. So he brought me a Dutch goalkeeper coach who, in his eyes, was better than the one that I want. So
who did you want?
I thought there was an opening to get Munir Josephs. He can still goalkeeper. He can learn to become a goalkeeper coach. But you have a third goalkeeper also on the hands. And then he third goalkeeper, and then work with the goalkeeper coach, and then start preparing himself. Start preparing himself for life after football, because he's got one more year left, and I think then he's going to pack it in. So then, I think he would have been ideal. He's very relevant. He's only stopped playing not so long ago. So I think, and he would have been honest. He would have been honest with Peter Levenberg and Sage Stevens, because at times, then the guy that we got, you only get one opinion. Oh no, Peter's got to play. So now it becomes like Dutch goalkeeper coach, Dutch goalkeeper as good as Peter is, and made Sage pushing him to the limits. But Peter comes out on top because the Dutch goalkeeper, they know each other. So it swings always one way, and then you start finding little problems within the team because certain people are Nakan and they together, and I create environment where we all speak English, and now and then we start having people speaking Dutch and people speaking small little things that you wanted at that time for a reason, because it would have brought this, it would have taken the team to that level, and it would have taken the team and it would have brought this stability. But now, because the director, boarding directors, the chairman, and the chairman's advisors, they advise against the players that I want, and then they must bring in. So yeah, as a coach, you accept, you take it, and you move on, and then in the end, I lose my job because of, I think, maybe if I've gotten Robin Johannes, things would have changed. Maybe if I've gotten the goalkeeper coach that I wanted, it would have changed, Maybe it wouldn't have changed, or maybe it would. We would never know. But it's just the principles. It's when you as a coach, when you make your analysis and that, and you feel that you're not supported, then you must know the end is near. And I smelt it, but I didn't want it to believe it. When certain things, the Robin Johannes, the open door policy, players that don't work hard enough, they've got open policy to go and speak to the chairman and go and complain and that's just creating problems upon problems, and it becomes a situation now where I see where it says that I couldn't control the dressing room, I couldn't control the players. There was nothing to control. The players are all grown men. They're adults. They have families of their own. That's the rules. That's my way. That's what I want from them, and that's what I'm expecting from them. And if you can't do that, then you're not a good professional at your job. And then if you feel that because you're not doing your job and you can't apply by what's been asked of you to do, and then to run to the chairman and complain, and I think that's cowardice. That's a coward. That's taking the coward way out. Because you are bigger, you earn more money than the majority of the team. So now you've got a right to go and speak to the chairman because you feel that you can't work harder than the other players, or you can't work as hard as other players, certain players in the team was doing. And that was the problem. And because I was too honest for it, maybe I should have been dishonest as well. I would have probably still been in a job, but I'd rather not have a job and become a dishonest coach. Because I always said, for me to do this job, I must be as honest as I possibly can. Honest with the players, honest with the chairman, honest to myself, honest to the coaching staff, and honest to the fans. And that's what I've done. Nothing else. Being honest at Cape Town City, and maybe I was too honest for Cape Town City. And that's why I got fired.
Sure. Now, when you hear all of these stories, and I don't know if it was, I'm trying to figure out, you talked about the Greek defender that came in after you failed with your attempts to get Robin Johannes to come through. Was he part of your plans? The gentleman that came through, Giannis?
He was signed by the club. I had to just accept. I had to.
But did you know him? Did you know him beforehand? Did you know of Giannis before? Giannis?
Never. I've never heard of him. I've never seen thingy. I was shown 1 or 2 videos and asked my opinion. What do I think again? Because the club's already signed him, and now they need to know my opinion of the player, of what I've seen. And I said, listen, he looks like a decent player, and that, and a few days in training, listen, he could play. He could play. Very good on the ball, under no pressure. Exceptional. Probably even better than most players in South African league because he's been in Europe and that under no pressure. But in a game situation, I don't know how he would handle himself, But I was that desperate, so I didn't even really care. I didn't get Robin. I just needed to plug the defense. We needed a leader. We needed someone to come and talk. And that Tamium Kiza, exceptional player, but he leads by performance. He doesn't lead by talking and telling players how to do their job. He comes to work. He's the first one in, and he works exceptionally hard. And and that's why he was made the captain, because he leads by example. But now when it comes to talking to players and come on, boys, man, we need to rectify this. We need to pull this one out. That's not Tommy's strength, So Tommy performs, and Tommy is expecting everybody else to follow. Whereas Robin performs, but Robin can tell you if you're not pulling your weight, he'll tell you. And that's what I needed. And then I got given a European player, an international player, who could hardly speak English. So what is he going to tell his teammates? So what problem are you solving in bringing in a leader with a player who doesn't speak the language, a player who doesn't? You understand? So it was just small little details, small little things that we were getting wrong, that was indicating to me that maybe, listen, I think my popularity with the players, my popularity with the fans was becoming a problem, and I don't know, Rob, I'm just blowing things out here. I'm just suggesting things because I can't seem to find answers to understand why certain things were like, why the club did certain things, because, they needed things to go bad so that they can fire me, so they can bring in someone who doesn't know the league, who the club, who the chairman, whoever, the chairman's son, Michel, whoever sits in the committees, who they can discuss, and they can discuss about the team, and they can tell the new coach, this one, that one, because I see now a lot of the players, the complaining crew, they all in the team because, it works, and your hard and honest working guys, your Craig Martins, Tabo Nodadas are struggling, your Zukis, your Tato Mokekes, like, people are struggling because, I think because I did what I saw in the training pitch, and that's how I selected the team. Players must earn the right to play in the team, irrespective of where you're from or how much you earn,
Just very quickly, sorry, Ben. I've literally got a minute and a couple of seconds left. I believe that you were shortlisted at the time, and I know that Hearts have gone on to appoint a coach. But you were shortlisted for a job in a historically big club.
Obviously it's a club in the city where I live, where my wife is from Edinburgh, Scotland, and Hearts is like 10 minutes from my house, So, I went for an interview. They see my CV, and they asked me to come in for a job interview, and I went for the interview, and it was super, super unbelievable experience. An experience of the toppest professionalism. And I think it's, even though I didn't get the job, but I think just, being black coaches, black players, ex-players, coaches, don't get a shout in, they don't get a look in Europe. They don't even get a job interview for that matters. And for me to be out of a job 2 weeks and then being asked to come in for a viewing, for an interview, and then I went there and I really impressed with my knowledge of the game and understanding of the game and what I've done with Cape Town City and the football brand that I play and what I want to bring to the club. And I was shortlisted, I think, with 3 coaches. I can't remember who the other one. It was Daniel Stendel, myself, and then another coach that they didn't say, though. And
where to next? Where to next, Benny? I'm out of time.
Obviously, so my agent is looking for me, and Europe is a big possibility because that I'm closer to my family. But I'm not saying because I'm looking in Europe that a return to South African football, it's off the cards. No, of course, like it's where I'm from, and I would love to return back. But if it's the right project for me, and it must be the right project for the club as well. So that's why. But I am putting out feelers, and I'm looking in Europe, and hopefully in the near future, I can be one of a very small percentage of South African coaches to have had an opportunity to coach in Europe, because I think that's what we should be striving for, We can't sell ourselves short or be scared or be able to know I want to coach, manage only in South Africa because there's an opportunity. No, I'm putting myself out there, if I need to fail, you need to kiss a few frogs before you marry your queen. So you need to make a few mistakes before you get the right job, before you get the one that's meant for you. So that's why. So I'm looking in Europe, and hopefully one day to return as well to South Africa if the right club, the right opportunity comes of it.
Benny McCarthy, would love to chat further. That's all the time we have. Thank you for giving your perspective. Thank you for giving your side of the story. I wish you everything of the best in your next venture, and we'll be sure to keep our listeners informed about that. Thank you so much indeed for chatting to us on MSW.
Thanks very much as always, Robbie. Great show. Always listen to it whenever I can. and keep doing the amazing job, my man. And to all the South African fans, football lovers out there, have a blessed 2020.
Thank you so much indeed. That is Benny McCarthy coming live from Scotland. Benny McCarthy, former coach there of Cape Town City.